Welcome back to Just Some Perspective podcast. This is your host Mosh. Hope y'all having a good month so far. Got another reaction for you guys today. Why Gen Z is quitting dating apps. And as a millennial, speaking from experience, who's also single and somewhat in the market, I also have quit dating apps. And to me, I don't believe they necessarily work unless you're a certain type of person. But yeah, I'm curious to see what they say. Let's see what they got.
Dating has never been easier, or so you thought. Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, Field. There's a platform for everyone, yet no one seems happy. What was supposed to make love simpler has just made people lonelier, and Gen Z has had enough.
It absolutely did not make simpler by any means. All it did is commodify and make it a numbers game, like to a extreme amount. So, yeah, I don't think making it simpler by having large databases of millions of people like is a simple goal there. I don't know.
logging off of dating apps in droves, and maybe they're onto something. Are they rejecting hookup culture, algorithmic romance, or something deeper?
Algorithmic romance. There you go. That is what's BS and what doesn't work. It's not an algorithm. I'm sorry. And human beings are not really designed to connect based on algorithms alone. Yes, does it play a factor? Yeah. And can it work for some? Yes. But I mean, if they show the data, there's no way for the vast majority it has worked.
On today's episode of the Infographic Show, we're looking at why Gen Z is swiping left on dating apps. Let's start with a fact that anyone who has used a dating app can relate to. They're exhausting. Dating apps were supposed to be a fun way to meet.
Oh my God. Get out of here with that stupid question, that dumbass thing. The games you have to play. Oh my God. It is hella exhausting, and checking your phone multiple times a day for stupid messages or any matches at all. And you have all these numbers and all these things, and still you can't connect with someone. It's rigged. It's not. The game is rigged, my friend.
Singles in your area, people you might never have interacted with otherwise. But in reality, they've become a way to discover that most singles near you can't hold a conversation, or only know the word hey, or are actually married with 3 kids.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy that married people are a large percentage of folks on there that are still swiping, and they get hit too. Like that says a lot about society when married people are on dating apps and pretending to be single.
A surprise on your third date. They feel like a chore, and that's because they are. According to Statista, an April 2024 survey found that millennials spent almost 56 minutes a day on dating apps.
Complete waste of time after being on them for years and spending like 5-10 minutes a day. It's getting annoying, but constantly checking, constantly swiping, right? I mean, it's the old saying, insanity is doing the same thing over and expecting different results. That's literally an algorithmic tech version of that. So yeah, no, thank you. I'm off right now, and I hope I continue to stay off.
Gen Z, almost 50. That's 7 hours a week devoted to a dating strategy, which doesn't include actually meeting someone. And the strategy is mostly unsuccessful, as you'll soon see.
Yep.
But believe it or not, that's actually an improvement over 2018. Back then, Badu surveyed 5,000 people aged 18 to 30 and found that men spent an average of 85 minutes a day on dating apps. Meanwhile, women spent 79. That's roughly half an hour less today for the same generation.
Wow.
So it seems that everyone is getting sick of them. Endless swiping, endless ghosting, and hundreds of conversations that go literally nowhere. And that is not the bitterness talking.
More like millions of conversations that go nowhere if you consider the millions of users that are on there. So for sure, millions of them. And I just did an episode last month or a month or two ago about in-person matrimonial event and how dating and relationships in modern day is basically cooked. And as a whole, as a society, I don't know how we're going to progress and move forward now with the advent of AI and all that shit. Because people are coming together and they're highly qualified, but like apparently either nobody... It's like... applying for a job where they don't want you, or you know what I'm saying? It's always a job interview. So
It's statistics. The Stanford University School of Medicine found that 50% of people on dating apps will never go on a date through them. Not
It's only 50%? Shit, I thought it was more like 80%.
because they don't get a match, because they don't want to. They're on the dating apps, but they're not looking for a date. So what are they using them for? According to Elias Abujaude, a clinical professor of psychiatry and behavioral sciences, people said that they use dating apps for everything from feeling socially connected to simple entertainment and distraction. Some
Jesus. Now people are going on there to just be distracted, entertained. Like, we don't have enough of that in the world with Netflix and social media and online gaming and everything. Like, good lord.
people actually said that they used it as a coping mechanism for negative emotions.
As you can see, the dude in the red is like sweating profusely, as if that's not like anxiety and depression speaking. But
Next time you get ghosted, at least now you know it's boosting someone else's ego. Feel better now? Well, that means the other half of the people are looking for a relationship, right? Or at least a date? It turns out, no.
everyone, pretty much everyone my age and younger has been and has ghosted people in this world, and that's a modern day phenomenon. Never happened before. All thanks to good old smart tech and technology, smartphone. It's very easy to not respond to a message than it is to answer a difficult, honest question or answer a tough question or a message.
Oh, because the same study found that around 65% of Tinder users are in a relationship. Some are even married.
Jesus.
Great waste
65% in a relationship. Yeah, we're cooked, man.
of time for everyone on the apps looking for a commitment. Even among single people, finding a date on a dating app feels like finding a needle in a haystack. For every 285 online matches, you can expect at most one in-person sexual or romantic meeting. Stats that get worse by the year. Which is weird because finding a date is the real reason dating apps exist. So imagine going to a supermarket 285 times to have a shot of finding some food.
Hell no. Hell no. That's almost 1 in 300 times. 1 in 300 times? You have a better chance of getting in an accident, bro. Are you kidding me? Oh my god. Knock on wood, praying that it never happens. Even the job market is not that bad. Like 1 out of 300. Maybe it is pretty rough in the job market, but when you realize it's a waste of time because of all that, the people are on there on in relationships, people are not serious, people are not even looking to date, and etc. You have to just understand the game and just be like, yo, I'm not playing this game anymore. It's not worth my time. If you value your time, you'll have to consider doing that.
80% of Tinder users said that they had never had sex with anyone they met on Tinder. And only 1 in 4 people met someone that they would even consider for a relationship, most of which didn't work out that way. Apps have made
I am one of the 80%, I will have to say.
people so cynical. This much ghosting and rejection would make even Romeo and Juliet swear off romance. The study asked nearly 1,400 Tinder users of all ages to rate their dating.
Let's be real. No one really expects to find love on Tinder. That's the dumbest shit I ever heard. Absolutely not. The whole premise is like a hookup app in general, which drunk people back in 2015 would use, and your top chads and what have you, the studs, they'd be getting all the matches because all the chicks matching with them, and the rest of the dudes get ignored for like maybe 1 out of the 300. They get a swipe right or something, but. I mean, if you're honestly going on Tinder to find actual love, and to be honest, almost all dating apps, you're in for a sore surprise because, like, people aren't even serious or want to even follow up on a conversation or answer your DM, much less meet you in real life. So, yeah.
App experience. Their satisfaction with Tinder, 2.39 out of 5.
Zero.
With their dates from Tinder, 3.05 out of 5. Those are failing grades.
I don't think I've ever been on one single Tinder date. I don't think I have. Maybe one time ever. I can in I don't know how, God knows how many number of times of swiping, but yeah.
If you see a restaurant with a 3 out of 5 rating on Google, you're probably not going. Or maybe you'll just like spending all night on the.
Bro, I barely even watch a 3 out of 5 movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, yeah, 3 out of 5 isn't that much a waste of time if it's a movie. Like, it's beyond, it's above it's like average at best or something. But yeah, 3 out of 5 restaurants I don't typically go to. No.
Toilet. One 26-year-old user, Julia, spoke out about why apps have become terrible. She says it used to be that you would match with someone cute, talk for a while, and grab drinks that week. Now it's more like you match, you take days to respond to each other, and eventually forget why you liked them in the first place. Why are the conversations?
By the way, they're not going to go into this, but male and female dynamic is totally different on dating apps across the board. And females get like a shit ton of more matches than males on average, by far. I can tell you on an average, females swipe right only less than 50% of the time. In fact, barely 30%. I don't even know exactly, but it's definitely less than 50. Men are 50 and up, 50% and up of the time they're swiping right. So a lot of people are not going to be getting swiped on, right? A lot of people are not getting swipes at all. So, yeah.
So bad? Harvard has the answer. Also, we didn't really know that so many prestigious institutions were looking into dating apps. It turns out the answer is boredom. Most people get on dating apps when they're bored. But you know what happens when you're bored? You are also boring. Which is why 99% of dating app conversations start with, "Hey." As the study says, this heightened boredom coupled with the inherent unrealness of connection on dating apps drives ghosting and flaking.
Okay, most people aren't getting hey with that many Y's, but typically if you do, it's a good thing. Either the person is drunk or really wants to see you.
Spending an hour a day to get such boring, frustrating mid-results? It's not surprising that Gen Z is ditching them. In 2023, Axios surveyed 1,000 college-age people and found that 79% were not using dating apps regularly.
Really?
Anyone following the markets shouldn't be.
That's kind of surprising, actually. That's a really high amount of people not on dating apps for the modern college student. But I guess it must be really rough, I guess, for them. It's just hypergamy on steroids.
Surprised. In 2023, Match Group, the parent company of Tinder and Hinge, saw its share price plummet by 68%.
Good.
Mostly because investors were worried about the dip in paid users for the apps. And the situation has only gotten worse since then. Between May 2023 and 2024, Tinder lost 594,000 users. Bumble lost 368,000.
All three out. Done. All three. I rarely ever even use Tinder. That's the worst of them. But the other two I was on for a while, and absolutely nothing on Bumble. Absolutely nothing. Hinge had at least a tad bit more success. Tad bit more, but you end up having to pay for it. A bit more success on Hinge, but all three totally cooked. Absolutely not.
And Hinge lost 131,000. And we doubt that it's because everyone is finding love.
Nice whole round numbers. We know it ain't that whole round numbers.
Maybe that's why Gen Zers are not meeting people via apps anymore. Or let's be honest, since it's Gen Z, maybe they're not meeting people at all. The Kinsey Institute surveyed 2,000 single adults on dating behavior. Only 21.2% of Gen Z said the apps were the primary way of meeting people. 58% said they focused on in-person meetings instead. They're even
in-person is my goal. I think it's better to try to meet people naturally in the real world instead of digitally, and have some face-to-face interaction. But if you see that there's, I think, two people that are actually feel an attraction and connection towards each other in real life is way better of a notion than trying to fake some BS on pretend like you're something behind the screen or you're not, and then talk your way to agreeing to meet up or something. So at least you can't fake who you are in person. Like, you can't fake it. You are who you are. So it's way more genuine. You could fake a little bit, but it's definitely not even close to the same as behind the screen. So for the most part, what you see is what you get in real life. So that's how people used to match and mate for fucking millennia. I don't know. So yeah, I think it's better to get rid of dating apps and not rely on the stress and anxiety of swiping and matching and playing all the BS game. So I agree.
Reverting to even more old-fashioned methods than that, like matchmaking. Matchmaker Germany Fox told Pop Sugar, "My Gen Z clients say they come to me because dating apps are dead. The waters are polluted, and they are getting ghosted or catfished." A 2023 Statista survey backs this Gen Z attitude up. Even though more Gen Zers than millennials are single, The latter are overrepresented on dating apps. Millennials between 30 and 49 made up 61% of dating
That is me, between 30 and 40. Yeah,
app users.
60%.
Only 26% of all users were Gen Z, and almost everyone is reporting app burnout. People were asked to list their top reasons for being done with the apps. The most common reason was simple: people just couldn't find a real connection. 40% of respondents said that was their biggest issue. 35% said they were disappointed by the people they met. 27% were tired of constant rejection. And 24% were sick of the endless loop of, hey, what's up? Conversations. But what about the Gen Zers using those apps? Those who haven't given up yet. According to surveys, less than half even enjoy the experience. And that's not surprising, considering how jaded dating apps make people. In the past, if things didn't click with your friend's coworker, or it didn't work out with that guy from your running group, you had to deal with it face to face. But it
Yeah, honestly, running groups, better idea. I'll give Gen Z kudos for that. And you're both doing a healthy activity. You're both in person. I mean, I imagine you have value of physical fitness. You know, you don't have to pretend, or you don't have to hope for someone like that on dating apps. So yeah, running club is a good idea.
was the decent thing to do. But skipping that talk would make things pretty awkward the next time you saw your friend or showed up to the running group. But now, ghosting seems to be the way to go on dating apps. They have created a very low commitment, high pressure environment. When you meet 10 different people in person over a few months, you actually have time to get to know them and see them all as real people. On dating apps, you've swiped through 10 times that many people while waiting for a YouTube ad to finish. They don't feel real. They're just a collection of photos and words.
Yeah.
Perhaps that's why 84% of Gen Z and millennials have been ghosted. Unsurprisingly, they don't.
It's 100%. Shut the hell up. There's no way 100 that it's only 84. Every single person in our generation has been ghosted once before, at least. Every single person. There's no way. I know for a fact, and most of us have ghosted other people. It's just part of life. So it's just a new thing of the tech modern world, new phenomenon. It hasn't happened before. So
Don't feel great about it. But 61% of millennials and 77% of Gen Zers have also admitted to ghosting others. Even though we know how bad we feel when we experience it, we don't feel so bad that we won't do it to others. 86% of people who ghosted others said they felt relief. Less than half of them regretted it. Of course, there are situations.
I used to have this moral high ground. I used to be like, I will never ghost, and I don't ever want someone to ghost me. But there's nothing you can do about someone else. That people, if that's in them, they're gonna do it. There's no stopping them. And the only reason people don't answer anything, there's only two reasons. Either they're literally super busy that they can't even look at their phone, which on like 99% of the time is not true to that extent, because everyone's checking their phone for something, right? Maybe they're traveling, okay? They barely have access. Maybe they're hiking all day. They don't have connection. In that case, that makes sense. People don't answer, but that's very rare, few and far between. But on average, it's because they lost interest, or they're too chicken shit and scared to answer certain questions or like respond. Very simple.
Situations where ghosting is appropriate, like abusive or dangerous ones. But most people who reported ghosting said they did it to end the relationship or avoid stress and confrontation. Psychologists now call it reciprocal ghosting. Dr. Alexander Alvarado says, once people experience the discomfort of being ghosted, they might unconsciously adopt the same behavior as a self-defense mechanism. And
Bro, just let it go, man. People that want to be in your life will be in your life. Just let it go, okay? If they don't want to be in your life, don't be in your life. And not only that, there are certain family, sometimes your family will cause you stress and anxiety. And if the answer is ghosting, then so be it. Yeah, so you have to protect your own mental health as well. And sometimes people don't even consider yours or care about yours. So if that means ghosting to help you clear your headspace, I'm sure people do that too.
dating apps have made it easier than ever for people to ghost. Because what's the person you stood up to gonna do? They might not even have your contact information. At worst, they'll send you an annoyed text that you can just ignore before blocking them. Young daters actually agree. 2 out of 3 think
I've seen people message, read, and then like delete like in 10 minutes, like so fast, out of nowhere. Like, and it makes nothing. It has nothing to do with your answer, really. And they make it seem like it does, but there's no way. They just like, oh, I'm out for any reason, especially the ladies. Okay, if I can only speak from a guy swiping on females, so I only see it from the female side, right? Or I should say from the male side, trying to interact with females. I can't see it from the female side interacting with males. But in my experience, the vast majority that ghost are definitely not interested or whatever. It's not any one thing anyone says.
ghosting is a byproduct of online dating. 1 in 4 say they have been ghosted after the first date or 2. 1 in 10 say they've been ghosted after a few months of dating. Of course, dating apps themselves haven't.
Just to get to a few months means you have to get through many dates already, okay? And just to get, that's a step-by-step process. And so that means the whole time you would not have been ghosted. But I'd say that's really messed up if it's beyond a few months or years or whatever. At that point, you do need to like just be a real person, be a man or whatever, and like just be upfront and say I'm not interested or it's not going anywhere. I would say you somewhat owe the other person, but that being said, nobody can control another person and whether they ghost or not.
Made it any easier. They used to be free, but now, just like everything else online, they have become heavily paywalled and monetized.
Yep.
You may have heard the rumors that if you don't pay for premium subscriptions, the app won't show you the best matches for you. It turns out the rumors might be true. Gizmodo tech journalist Thomas Germain spoke about them after studying dating apps for a year. Dating apps will often rank how attractive you are after you join. They use a combination of your profile photos and how attractive the people who swipe on you are to determine that.
It's all artificial BS, man. It's all artificial, algorithmic bullshit. That's it.
It's weird to think that some algorithm is rating you an LA6, but here we are in 2025. But many people have found something strange. The app will go out of its way to not show you people that it thinks are in your league of hotness, unless you pay. So you're basically dating down unless you get a subscription, and those aren't cheap.
That just looks like street workers right there.
First tier of premium services costs between $10 and $50 a month, depending on which app you use. Hinge, for example, offers Hinge Plus for $32.99 a month, but you can also get Hinge X for $49.99. For those prices, you can like as many profiles as you want and see everyone who has liked you, so you already know who's interested. With the free version, you can only like 8 people total. Germain says many of his sources using the free versions of dating apps have noticed some shady tactics. For example, on Hinge, once you have liked 8 people, the next profile you see, the one you can't like without paying, is often the most attractive yet. It could be a coincidence, but it wouldn't be out of line with all the other unethical things the dating apps do for money.
Yeah, we live in this kind of society. It's all gold digging.
In 2022, Consumers International found that Tinder was charging 30 to 49-year-old people up to 6 times more for its premium features than users between 18 and 29. The app banked on the idea that older users would be more serious about dating and desperate for matches. And if you really want a date, Tinder and the other apps can offer you much more. For money equal to a month's rent, Tinder has an upgrade called Tinder Select that costs $499 a month. But that is nothing compared to the League.
Are you kidding me? $500 a fucking month for a bullshit app that you don't even guarantee dates? Jeez, dude. That is some bullshit. Okay, so the dating app companies are essentially like scamming. Essentially big time scamming. And yeah, that is messed up. I agree. In my experience, free version, always less options. Less high quality matches, for sure. As soon as you paid, you get a little bit better, but you might run out of people in your area or whatever it is, so then you have to expand your area and so forth. So yeah, they do force you to do that. I get it. If you pay for something, you should get what you pay for. Fine. And if it's free, then right? It's free, so it's limited. But that being said, it's literally like highway robbery here. It's highway robbery and it's big time scam.
An app that is geared toward people with prestigious education backgrounds and ambitious careers. The VIP options of the league cost almost $2,500 a month. That is $30,000 a year. Gen Z's
Bro, that's a car payment on that Porsche that they're in this video. That's insane. That's a fucking mortgage, dude. That's actually more than a mortgage. That's way more than most mortgages, I would say.
starting salary. And what do you get for that? You can check dating opportunities in up to 10 different cities, have weekly speed dates, and consult with your own personal concierge for dating advice. Honestly, just pay a matchmaker at that point. And that's not even touching all the microtransactions that the apps push you toward. You accidentally swiped left on someone you liked? Want to go back to their profile? Upgrade or pay for a rewind. Hoping you get bumped to the top of someone's feed? Send them a rose, and if you act now, you can get 3 for only $9.99. Want a better chance of a person you like seeing you? Maybe you should be your best, most authentic self and have a cool profile that reflects that. The answer is pay for a boost. Okay, that'll be $7.99 on Tinder. Some apps won't even let you use them unless you pay a subscription fee, especially those that consider themselves more exclusive and advertise better matches, like Raya. $24.99 a month and the league at $99.99 a week. Others hike their rates over time. They'll send you a notification about it, but amongst the 3,000 junk emails in your inbox, you could easily miss it. For a generation that's already struggling with rent and the cost of living, it's just too pricey. That $50 a month you're spending to slowly kill your sense of hope and romance could be going to something far more fulfilling, like tacos. And to be fair, some of the reasons behind the paywalls and such are to keep scammers and catfishes out. After all, only the dating apps are allowed to scam you. But there is a safety aspect too. Unfortunately, dating apps have failed hard at keeping scammers out, just like they have failed hard in their purpose in the first place. A Forbes Health survey found that 38% of dating app users have been catfished. Forbes Health Advisory Board member and sex therapist Dr. Span says, the impact of catfishing can cause psychological, physical, and emotional harm. And if that's not enough, there's also the constant dating app fatigue and burnout. After catfishing, people also reported issues with malicious links, leading to viruses on their device, or flat-out identity theft. All in all, 15% of those who took the survey said that they had been targeted by cyber criminals. With all of that fraud going on, 38% of survey respondents said they were afraid to use dating apps for all those reasons. Another 34% said that they do use them, but they generally don't trust the people they talk to on the app. For a generation raised with pretty good digital literacy, those risks aren't really worth it. Even if your match isn't pretending to be someone else, they can still be lying about a lot of important things. 21% of adults lie about their age on dating.
Everybody lies. Everybody lies, especially on dating apps. Everyone lies to make themselves look better, look younger, look taller, everything. Yeah, it's a scam. And it is a facade. It's a facade online. Many times it's a facade in person too, especially in matrimonial events that I have attended and I've talked about before. So it is 100%. Many of them, many of the things is a facade. But yeah, dating apps, they're gonna have to rethink their business model because they're gonna lose the users left and right. I'm already off them, and I don't even know it was to this level of bad of insanity. But the amount of money being charged and the scamming going on and the BS behind the scenes. Oh my God, yeah. If they lost like half their user base, they're in big trouble.
Apps, with men being slightly more likely to lie than women, 23% versus 19%. Of dating app users, 14% admit to lying about income, another 14% about hobbies and interests, which is why your last "I love cooking" date almost set your kitchen on fire. Another 13% lie about.
Thank God I never had that situation. I actually do like cooking personally. I had to cook for myself, but don't think I've got to the point where that was on the menu.
Their employment and dating history or dating present, which is an even bigger problem. And lastly, 12% of users lie about their height. Some people on apps will be very direct though, some might say too direct. The chances of harassment on apps are way too high. Nothing kills the search for romance like a steady stream of junk pics.
By the way, I think romance officially is dead in this modern era. thanks to technology and dating apps. I honestly don't believe in the concept of romance in today's world.
According to the Pew Research Center, 38% of people on dating apps have received sexually explicit messages or images they never wanted. And meeting fun strangers you wouldn't otherwise come across sounds great until you offhandedly mention where you like to get lunch and then see them the next day in a corner staring at you. The Australian
Damn.
Institute of Criminology
That is fucking insane amount of creepiness if people have done that. I would be losing my shit.
surveyed almost 10,000 app users, and they found that 72.3% were victims of online sexual violence within the past 5 years. That ranged from repeated explicit images being sent to being threatened or verbally abused. The study also unfortunately found that 1 in 3 users had been the victims of in-person sexual violence via people they met on the apps. There's another depressing reality about life on the apps. Most people won't do really well on them. The majority of swipes, likes, and attention on apps goes to a very small percentage of users.
Okay, here we go. This is what Manosphere has been talking about forever, and there's so much stats and data on this, but men swipe right on average all across the board over 50% of the time, or at least 50% of the time, just left or right, cute or not. Females, barely 20 to 30%. So a shit ton of people, mostly guys, are not getting swiped on. And females are getting insane amount of matches because most guys are swiping on most females, but it's just not the same for males. So yeah, eventually you're going to get tired of that BS.
The hot ones. It makes most people on the apps feel excluded. And while that's usually presented as a guy problem on the apps, it's actually not much better for girls. Sure, women will on average get way more matches, but that's just because many men are swiping right on almost everyone.
Yeah.
According to Swipe Stats, women swipe right on about 5% of profiles. Men, 53%.
5% swiping right for females. We're cooked, bro. We are fucking cooked. And I see 50% plus for men. So yeah, man, with these numbers, does that look like a future society to you? Does that look like modern day relationships coming together to you? Like future improving this birth rate crisis, having sustainable outcomes, sustainable population growth and so forth? Bro, we're cooked. Like, that's why so many percent of people are not dating entirely, male and female. But this is really tragic. Like 5% of females they swipe right 5% of the time on average, and like no one's gonna get relationships, or they're all gonna be sharing dudes. So
add to that the fact that more than 75% of global Tinder users are male, and you end up with a much harder marketplace for men than women, which partly depends on the area. Europe has a nearly even split. Meanwhile, US Tinder is about 65% male, and Indian Tinder is 90% male. But once the matches are in place, things aren't that much better for women, or men honestly. Men will be about 2 out of every 100 matches, women closer to 1.7. One thing is universally true for both genders: if you want a lot of matches, you better be hot. The University of Amsterdam found that improving your photo by 1 standard deviation of attractiveness improves your matching rate from 25% to 43%.
Yeah.
People must care about who you are as well, though, right? Turns out, not really. Improving your bio only improves your matching rate by 2%. This very superficial approach to dating is a huge turnoff for Gen Z.
it's all superficial. It's always been superficial. Just be a jacked guy in a suit with a Lambo and look like you own it. That's really all it comes down to. Yeah, it's all like this thanks to and the modern culture kind of it promotes this behavior. It promotes it. I will say if Gen Z is really quitting by the drove to get off because they're done with these games and done with the facade and the fakeness, I will give them kudos to that. That is actually quite a mature thing to do for a generation that grew up with technology.
A generation that puts a lot of emphasis on authenticity. And it's not just us saying that. A survey by Ernst & Young found that 92% of Gen Z values being authentic and true to oneself.
92% being authentic? Interesting. Well, I can't say that from my personal experience with Gen Z, but Who's to say?
yourself. But let's just say you get through all of these dating app challenges and obstacles. You have matched with someone. They responded to your message. After a few days of chatting, you set a date, and they actually show up. Then, nothing. No spark, no chemistry. You sit through a 3-course dinner that feels like homework, when you could have used your one night out to see your friends, or just lying under a warm blanket falling asleep to a rerun of The Office.
Damn.
Both of which sound like
How they know me so well. It's so true. Lying in your at home and watching whatever Netflix and chilling and sleeping is, I would say, a million times better than going out and dealing with BS on dates.
better plans than the one you're currently doing. Maybe that's why 53% of people still said they met their last date at a bar. As one Gen Z man, Jason, shares, you get a real sense of who someone is, their style, what perfume they're wearing, whether they can hold a conversation.
I used to do that. I used to go bar hopping and do that back in the day, in the college days, but not anymore. You don't want a person that if alcohol and if you want to look for a mother of a child and a wife for a husband and that sort of thing, it's not the people at a bar.
It's something you can't do on the apps. Meeting someone in real life gives you a lot more information about them. The initial questions of, do we have chemistry? Do I like the way they talk and smell? Do they pick their nose in public settings? Have already been answered. Not to mention, if you meet someone in real life, it's likely to be through a friend, a job, or a hobby, meaning you already know you have something in common. But the problem goes beyond just dating apps.
Yeah, that's how people used to meet, is through, if it's not through family or friends or school, it would be through work or hobbies, for sure. That's how people have always met and connected, throughout most of time, I would guess, most of history. But recently is the dating app phenomenon.
Gen Z is getting burned out, and not only because of overwork and finances, but burned out on screens and the digital world in general. The generation that has had an iPad since childhood.
I was gonna say that's saying a lot for a generation that grew up with iPads from a young age, including my own family. Yeah, they're the ones that have been tech ingrained from birth, like the first generation. So that is actually interesting. I didn't realize they're that burned out. I really thought there'd be a high percentage of them on there, but I guess if they're really taking off, then that is a representation of kind of their thought process.
It is absolutely over it. They wasted too much of their time in high school and college scrolling TikTok, and now they want to get back to life in the real world, which is why 57% of Gen Z would rather ditch the apps and meet in person. Because just like someone's social media profile, everything about a person's dating profile is curated. Are they actually athletic and love the outdoors? Or did they go on one hike a year ago and just put that in their profile because they think it sounds attractive? Do they love books, or
I went on a hike earlier last month, which was fun, and I have gone on many hikes. But yeah, for sure, there are people who would go there for just validation.
did they just open one once and have their roommate take a candid picture of them? Also, were their pictures taken anytime in the last decade? Oh, they like travel and coffee and pizza? Great, that makes them totally different from everyone else in the world. There's also another point almost no one considers. Gen Z may not be using dating apps because they're just not dating as much to begin with. People feel much less pressured to settle down and get married than they did just a couple of decades ago. To start with, the U.S. Census Bureau found that in 2022, 34% of people over the age of 15 had never been married. In 1950, that number was 23%. So staying single is becoming more normalized. 40% of Gen Z and millennials also think marriage is an outdated tradition. Maybe that's why 17% aren't planning on getting married at all.
It's cooked, bro. It's cooked, and to the chagrin of many family members and friends and so forth. Yeah, we are heading into a era of history that is just not going to be normal anymore. People don't care about marriages and commitments and that sort of thing, and maybe not family planning. It was held together by cultural and religious views and norms throughout all of time, really. So now, if you don't really care about cultural or religious views in terms of settling down or getting married, yeah, it is becoming an outdated concept on a whole level. I still think that for humans to function, it is best to have a lifetime companionship, lifetime partner, and raise children and be mothers and fathers. I think that's very important and is needed. But dude, I can talk about this for hours and hours. But yeah, I am not gonna rush into a single thing. Absolutely not. I'm not going to rush into a single relationship, no matter how much people are going to beg and scream and yell and whatever. You can't bully someone to be in a relationship that they don't want to be in. You can't bully someone to do something that be in a relationship status because you want them to. It's not going to happen. So, yeah. Anything rushed in life is most of the time ends up in failure. It is going to end up badly. But yeah, from a societal standpoint, we are heading towards a less or to no marriage future.
That doesn't mean that Gen Z will be a fully single generation, obviously. It just means that they can envision a happy life that doesn't involve a relationship. There's also a large segment of Gen Z that is not dating, not due to choice, but fear. Hinge found that over half of Gen Z daters didn't pursue a potential relationship due to a fear of rejection or being cringe. Another reason, Gen Z isn't in a great place. A lot of people are broke or have major debt.
Finally, something we can agree on. Gen Z, please get it up back going.
63% of Gen Z say they feel judged or embarrassed about how they manage money, whether it's the debt they're carrying or the money they don't make. That doesn't just make dating harder. How do you go to a nice restaurant or a bar with no cash? It also makes many feel undateable before the date even starts. The result of all of this is a generational pivot. And honestly, it might be for the best. Millennials embraced dating apps as revolutionary. An increasingly isolated work and friend culture made meeting people in real life more difficult. So apps seemed like a solution. But Gen Z is already walking away. And if the trend continues, the billion-dollar dating app industry may be forced to reinvent itself.
Exactly. They're going to have to reinvent themselves. It could be game over. Kudos to you, Gen Z, if you're really as a generation saying no and
or risk losing the very generation it needs to survive. Gen Z might be done with dating apps, but in some places finding love has always been complicated. Watch why the dating scene
in some cases, in fucking every case. Are you kidding me? Anyway, good video, and if you haven't subscribed, check it out. It's called The Infographic Show. I've done many reactions to them, and will keep doing. There's just such a great channel. So yeah, kudos to you, Gen Z, if you're actually logging off for all the reasons mentioned, and you really value in-person connection. I think it's very important. I think it's crucial. That's how society has functioned throughout all of time until recently. And I didn't realize that my generation, millennials, made such a big deal about meeting online, on dating apps to begin with, which we did. But I didn't realize it's turning around so fast in one quick generation, especially with the one grew up with tech. So kudos to them. We're in this revolutionary time, technologically and societally, and it's changing. I hope for the better, but who knows? And so we're gonna have to just understand the world and make the best moves we can make. There's nothing else to say. So, all right, that's it. If you liked the episode, please hit the like button, share, subscribe for more. With that, this is Mosh, and remember, it's just some perspective.